Rockpile were a British band that existed from 1976 to 1981 and released one studio album. Um, However, they recorded considerably more material than that suggests. Um, but quite a bit of it was released either as Dave Edmunds solo stuff or Nick Lowe solo stuff, both of whom were in Rockpile. Problems uh, around the names and their contracts caused quite a lot of complications. They individually had contracts with different record labels. Hi, my name's Dan. So this is the only Rockpile studio album that was released under the name Rockpile. However, as I said in the introduction bit, there were quite a few bits of Nick Lowe and Dave Edmunds' solo albums that were actually Rockpile, and they toured as Rockpile. And in fact, although there's only one studio album, there are five live albums from Rockpile that are available. So this was pub rock with a strong emphasis on rock and roll, I would say. So let's break that down a bit. Pub rock was a style of music that is so called because it came through the pub circuit, particularly down in the south and in London, in Britain, and it was a style that was a reaction against the flamboyant outfits and overblown theatrics of glam rock and prog rock, and so they were the people who played it tended to wear very normal clothes, and they had a very kind of bloke attitude. The songs were short and snappy, and it was very immediate, and it was kind of in some ways a precursor to the punk explosion that happened in Britain, which of course was influenced by New York stuff particularly. But it had the same kind of reason for being, but wasn't quite so extreme. And mostly it kind of took the form of upbeat pop rock, and in fact, in some ways, kind of yeah, history music. Here we go. As punk kind of lost its impetus a bit, and some people would say it transformed into new wave. Actually, new wave, I would say, has quite a lot of the elements of pub rock to it as well. Um, so I said pub rock, where with a strong emphasis on rock and roll. So there's a lot of songs that wouldn't sound out of place in a rock and roll setting. In fact, 20 years, 30 even almost earlier than this, and a particular kind of feeling of Chuck Berry, I would say. And in fact, one of the tracks, "Oh What a Thrill," is a Chuck Berry cover. And it's got that kind of, I don't really know how to describe it, but that kind of rock and roll, slightly rockabilly feel to it, used quite often, but within the context of it being pop rock, I guess. The lead vocals are being done by three of the members. So we've got Nick Lowe, who also did solo stuff. We've got Dave Edmunds, who also did solo stuff, and a guy called Billy Bremner, who it always confuses me because when I was young in the 70s, there was a very famous person called Billy Bremner who was not this Billy Bremner, who was a footballer for Leeds United. Um, Five out of these 12 songs are covers, so obviously, as an extension, seven of them were written by the band. And it's upbeat, it's kind of immediate, it's kind of mildly dancey in a kind of pop rock kind of way. But even when there's content that's somewhat sad, the music's still quite upbeat. There's quite a lot of emphasis on guitars here, a variety of feels, as I say, but there's definitely this kind of rock and roll element to it. There's quite a bit of use of acoustic 12-string guitar. I think that I haven't really kind of gone through and checked, but it's reminiscent of Dave Edmunds' solo stuff. So I think that when Dave Edmunds is singing lead vocals, that's more likely to happen. Don't know if I've got that wrong. Um, Overall, I would say it's not deep, but it's definitely friendly. It's easy on the ears and easy on the brain. If you like stuff like Graham Parker and the Rumour, Dr. Feelgood, who are also been kind of labelled as pub rock, you might like this. Also, if you like probably more well-known Elvis Costello, you might like this, but the songwriting isn't as complex as Elvis Costello's, but musically it's got some similarities, certainly to his early stuff. So I reasonably enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it was an earth-shaking album, but I certainly didn't object to it and quite enjoyed it. And that's what I think. And as normal at this point, I'd like to ask you to tell me what you think. So please do leave a comment. And that's it from me for now.